Hello, welcome to Stillwater, a mystery visual novel developed by Studio Clump. It's about a private investigator by the name of Hugo Laurent and him investigating some kind of mystery involving, well, something, I guess. I'm not sure exactly, to be honest. There's not a lot of information given on the store page, but someone, I guess, calls him in some kind of mystery involving their grandfather. I guess we'll see. It is a well, it's under the I guess Halloween, spook jam on itch.io. So you can guess that it's probably some kind of horror game, most likely. I guess we'll see. Let's start. And I don't know if the game mentions it, I guess, but there is like flashing lights. There's violence, mature themes. I guess it says here, right? Yeah, horror, mature themes, violence, and strong language. There you go. I don't have to say it. The game says it. That's good. Anyway, it starts off like this. I'm sorry, but I can't stay here anymore, Nina. I feel like I'm going crazy. Calm down. If we could just talk it out. So many strange things keep happening after another. Every day, there's this damn dripping sound. I thought it was just something leaking at first, but I check every faucet, every ceiling, every pipeline, and still I hear it everywhere, constantly echoing in my ears. Oh, but the water. I find random pools of water just appear out of nowhere, just like the dripping. But it's at night. It's at night when it comes. I don't know if it's my paranoia, but I swear I could hear footsteps walking along the hallways, walking on pools of water. They walk, and they walk, upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs, upstairs, and then goes on and on and on and on like that. Somehow it does come to an end. And it ends, all in front of your grandfather's room. I know that this is a lot, but you have to believe me. No matter how many times I clean, it just won't end. I can't stay here any longer. I'm sorry, Nina. It's okay. I understand. Thank you for taking care of my grandfather, and Nina, please listen to me. I don't know what's happening around here, but... The woman on the phone cautiously looks around before speaking again in a hushed tone. Something terrible is lurking through this house. I don't know what it is, but please, as soon as you get back, take your grandfather and just leave this place. Some guy sitting here, looking at a shadow. I don't know. I can't just leave. This is my home. Please, Nina, this place, it's not safe. I don't know what you saw, but I can't just leave things like this. Or I can't leave things like this. I can't leave things like this. I don't know. I read that weird. It's my home. It's my home. Well, I guess there was a bit of an argument between someone, the caretaker of a house, I guess, or caretaker of someone's grandfather, as mentioned before. I don't know. Well, amid a foggy morning, there sits a man by the corner of a booth. He drinks black coffee and, depending on his mood, occasionally orders a donut. Well, hopefully that donut doesn't go, oh, 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 oh. Anyway, and today it was just black coffee. Ugh, I swear, I've never seen that amount of paperwork in my life. A freaking mountain worth of it. You're a valuable member of our team, Hugo. My foot. I'm starting to believe that I was bamboozled into joining their agency. Ugh. Hugo Laurent, age 30, takes a good look at his cup of joe and chugs it all in one sitting. He then continues to grumble to himself about last night's grueling work at the office. I really need to find a different job. As he contemplates his poor life choices, he looks out towards the early mist. There is something inherently terrifying about the fog to him, how it engulfs everything and nothing. Even if it disappears, it always leaves behind traces. It's very scary. It always reminds him about a video game franchise called Silent Hill. Proof of it remaining. Even in a quaint little town like this, I can't even run from my fate, I guess. Hugo finally stares at the compiled newspaper clippings he put together. Some of them from recent events, but mainly all were past headlines of missing person cases. No matter how many times I see this, it's still just as hard to look at. Fixating case after case, he can't help but remind himself that there is a reason for all of this. An all too personal reason, yes. Seeing strange things come with a price. In the end, I'm the one doing this to myself. Sounds rough. Mind if I join? An annoyingly familiar voice interrupts his train of thought. He slowly looks up to see the one responsible, though reluctantly. Okay, this guy. Good morning, Hugo. Hugo scowls and turns away from him. He then gathers the files and shoves it back into the binder. Meanwhile, the tall man takes this as initiative and sits at the opposite end of the booth. He greets the waitress, passing by, and orders himself the hefty body breakfast special. I don't know why that's bold and like big font size, but also with an extra plate, by the way. As usual, the waitress is happy to oblige and goes back to the counter to relay his order. The man then looks back at Hugo. He sees the empty cup and the now jumbled newspaper clippings, all the while Hugo is trying to ignore him. You really should eat something with that black coffee. Not ordering any donuts today. I'm fine, Noah. I'm just not in the mood, okay? Not even a little? There is a momentary silence between them before Noah disturbs it once more. Well, too bad for you. I ordered a big breakfast for the two of us. Two. Pancakes, eggs, bacon, sausages. Actually, I'm not sure what this is, to be honest. Some kind of... It's a clump of something. That looks like ketchup, though, so maybe this is like... I don't know, I have no idea. It looks like... anyway. As if the world could grace Noah with an even more perfect punchline, the food arrives. It looks delicious, though. Why the hell did you order for the two of us? Just eat what you want to eat. Don't worry about me. Wow, this looks so delicious. Right, Hugo? Are you even listening to me? Come on. We both know that if you don't eat now, who knows when you will. I'm not about to let you faint again. So open wide. Noah de Leon. Noah de Leon? Noah de Leon? I said Noah de Leon is how I assume it's supposed to say it, but obviously I could also read it as Noah de Leon. He's aged 27, a natural born charmer, eh? And is also just as equally persuasive as he is threatening. He put all his stats into charisma. With a pensive look, Hugo finally gives in and eats a generous spoonful without further complaints. It's good. Right, good food will always help cheer you up. Damn him, I got swept up. Damn him, I got swept up. I don't know why I keep saying that. I got swept up. I mean, that's normally what you would say, right? But no, I got swept away again. Got carried away again, you know? Oh, by the way, the chief will be out for a business trip. She mentioned he'll be for a couple of days. When did she tell you this? I didn't hear anything about it. Yesterday, I think. Yesterday? She told me to sort out the cabinets yesterday. She didn't mention anything about a business trip. I guess it was a pretty sudden one. Well, that means she did tell me to tell you. And lucky me, I know where you go every morning. You know what? I'm not surprised anymore. Well, what do you want to do? We technically have the day off. I'm gonna head back to the office. There's a couple of boxes I didn't get a chance to sort out. In that case, I'll come with you. Why? You could just rest for the day. And pass up this opportunity to get to know you better. Quit it. I guess introvert versus extrovert. This is how it goes. After their enlightening banter, the two of them finish their breakfast, pay for their meals, and head to Hugo's car. As Noah opens the door to the passenger seat, he notices a bloodhound sleeping inside. Big Dog stirs at the sound of the car opening and lazily stares at Noah. I'm sorry, big guy. He then closes the door while trying not to make too much noise to disturb his occupant. Toby. At the sound of his name, he opens his eyes. His heavy-lidded eyes slowly peek to see who calls for him. It is his one and only partner, his human. As if finally realizing who he is and where he is, the old bloodhound stirs up from his sleep, pounces at Hugo, and proceeds to wag his tail uncontrollably. Yes. Good morning again, Kobe. Had a nice nap. Kobe, 8 years old. This is very important. We gotta name all of the protagonists, including the dog. You know, we gotta name them, gotta know their age. It's very important. Hugo's most faithful and loving partner in crime. has the biggest tendency to just sleep all over the place. Noah, who is witnessing all of this from the back seat, chuckles to himself. He's amazed and slightly defeated at Hugo's sudden surge of energy. Huh. It doesn't matter how many times I try. When it comes to boosting up his mood, no one can beat Kobe. Oh, we're at the agency, 7:50 a.m. The three... Oh, I didn't mean to... okay. I didn't mean to click accidentally. I skipped that one line and scrolled back up. The three headed back to the office, the space just the same as Hugo left it. A decent, organized mess, and everything's glowing. I assume this is dust, but it also looks like just magical energy. I don't know. To his credit, for the amount of boxes he painstakingly went through, he believes he did a fair job. Albeit could have been better. Wow, you really outdid yourself, Hugo. It looks less crowded. Ah, shut it, will you? I said I was gonna get to it. Thanks, boy. Before Hugo could continue to deserve head pats, he notices someone. A woman stands timidly peering outside from the storefront. The woman appears a bit frantic. Disheveled and wearing ill-fitted clothes, she appears to be distressed about something. When she finally makes eye contact with Hugo, she immediately rushes in. Oops, I didn't mean to bump into the microphone. I'm so sorry. I know that the closed sign is up, but I saw you come in and are you alright, miss? I need your help. My grandfather, Before she can continue, Noah swiftly intervenes. It's okay. We'll hear what you have to say. So please, why don't you take a seat? Noah gestures to one of the empty chairs. The poor woman hesitates for a moment before heavily sighing in relief. She then walks towards the corner of the room and sits on the sofa. Can you start off by telling us your name? I'm sorry for earlier. My name is Nina Mortimer. I need help watching over my grandfather tonight. Watching over your grandfather? Yes. I'm sorry, Miss Mortimer, but I don't quite understand. Is he in danger? I'm afraid he is. Miss Mortimer, if that is the case, wouldn't contacting the police be better? We're a private detective agency. We're not the police. Sometimes people mix it up, because there's like private detectives and there's also police detectives and everything. There's a difference between them. No, I've tried requesting their help, but they all gave me the same answer. There's nothing they can do about it. If only I knew who Lewis was. Lewis. Nina fidgets at the name. She looks to the side before reaching out from her bag for an antique letter. My grandfather, he received a cryptic message the other day. It didn't come with an address or the name of the sender. However, the only thing I did pick up was that name. Ah yes, it's an invitation to Smash. As it turns out, the last character in Smash is... No, As she hands over the letter, Hugo notices her hand slightly shaking. Actually, did they already... I don't actually play Smash. It's funny because I don't have a Switch and I don't play Smash at all. But I like to actually, for some reason, like to follow the news when it comes to like introducing new Smash characters or whatever. I don't know, it's just exciting even though I never played the game. But did they already release all the characters? I have no idea. I just know everyone wanted like Waluigi to be in, but he isn't, I guess. Waluigi. Well, whatever lies in this note must have shaken her this badly. Delicately, Hugo removes the contents of the envelope and unfolds it. At first glance, it seems like any normal written message. A person named Lewis asking the other, Henry, to come meet him by the lake at midnight. That's never a good sign. It's very ominous. Needing to share something important with him. However, what's eerily striking about this letter is not the message itself. Rather, at the bottom of the page, a sentence far more disturbing is written. I am coming for you, Henry. Were there any other letters like this? Yes, a few of them. I thought it was a sick joke at first, but this one was different. Up until now, I've never heard of anyone by that name. Not a relative or a family friend. But they clearly know who my grandfather is. If I don't do something about this, I'll lose. I'll lose him too. Just by uttering the words alone, Nina breaks down. I like the art style is interesting, by the way. I like it. I like the art style. Also, big tears, big globs of tears. Hiding away her tear-streaked face, she begins to quietly sob to herself. As an act of comfort, Kobe sits closely to Nina while Noah fetches tissues for her. Gotta wipe your sorrows away. Hugo, on the other hand, is puzzled. This very well could have been a prank, but she seems certain. Certain that whoever or whatever this Lewis person is, they're coming. Do you want more tissues? I'll do it. I'll take on your case. For a moment, silence fills the room. Only stares are directed to Hugo until Nina finally stands up and walks towards him. You'll take it? Hugo simply nods. Thank you, thank you. You don't know how much this means to me. We're glad to help, miss. Nina's fine. Well, Nina, we'll do our best. Nina slightly smiles at Hugo before reaching to her bag once more and taking out a note. This is my address. I'll be sure to greet you when you get there, detective. She politely bows once more before heading to her car and drives back home. Once out of sight, Hugo turns to look at his cluttered desk. Still messy, but presentable. I guess I'll have to sort these out later, again. You know, I'm not sure what kind of voice I'm giving Hugo, to be honest. It's basically just my voice. I don't know. It's just slightly my voice, but I'm trying to make... I don't know what a detective generally sounds like. You know, I'm a detective. I need to do a detective voice, but I don't know what that means. I have no idea. I don't know. Hey, oh well. I don't know. He doesn't look like a gruff guy. You know, when I think of a detective, like an old-fashioned detective, I just think of like a gruff guy. You know, it's like I'm the detective. I smoke cigars and I drink a lot of shots of whiskey or whatever. But he doesn't look like that. Actually, he looks like he looks like a biche on it. Actually, anyway. From the ongoing downpour to the quiet hums of the car, they sit in silence. Still miles off from the destination, Hugo constantly checks the rearview mirror. Noah, who usually chats his ear off by now, sits completely still. Yeah, me, she? Something like that. But that's like a different kind of stereotype, though, anyway. He looks out to the passing streetlights, reserved and distant. Hey, you're a lot quieter than usual. What's wrong? This is a surprise. Have you been looking at me, Hugo? No, you idiot. You usually just talk a lot, that's all. So, do you miss me talking a lot? Just say it. I didn't want to offend Nina earlier, so I kept quiet until she finished. But it's her last name that caught me off guard. Have you heard about the Mortimers? They're a pretty distinguished family. And Mortimers is a very distinguished name in general. For some reason, when I think of Mortimer, I always assume it's a rich person, you know? I don't know. Well, there used to be. What do you mean? They've been struck with so many tragedies that over time people began to believe they were cursed or something. Every other year, I would see the headline on the local news about one of the family members' deaths. And you know what's strange? All of them have been labeled as accidents. No foul play, no nothing. Just another unfortunate event for the family. Tea cozies? Is that like a brand or something? Is there like a brand of Mortimer tea cozies? I don't know. I don't drink tea, so I have no idea. But maybe I understand why she wouldn't go to the police. She probably thought they perceive her as paranoid or hysterical, or worse, crazy. I can't imagine all this for Nina. And most of all, who knows who we'll find there? Is that why you decided to come with me? Well, partially. I'm more worried about you, though. Think of it this way, I'm the appointed driver. When you decide to do some pretty reckless shit, I'll be there to drive you to the local hospital. Ugh. Besides, two are better than one. Exactly. I was fine with Kobe coming with me. Well, Have you heard that 3 is better than 2? Ugh. Well, here's the estate at 6 o'clock p.m. It's raining. It just, you know, just instantly started raining as we entered the vicinity. Passing through countless dirt roads and steep cliffs, the estate reveals itself beyond the evergreen. Nestled and tucked away from prying eyes, it stands tall, looming from a distance. Hugo and Noah could only gaze at the sheer scale of the manor as they parked adjacent to Nina's car. Wow, and to think she came all this way just to request us. It took us more than a couple hours to get here. Maybe. She really didn't have a choice. What do you mean? Come on, she's waiting for us. Immediately after exiting the driver's seat, a sudden sharp pain weighs heavily on Hugo's chest. Grasping tightly at his coat, he begins to gasp for air. His gaze hazes as he leans closer to the car. Like a fish drawn out from sea, he desperately heaves. Okay, it's kind of weird that we're from. I guess we're from. Wait, who's having? What's? I assume we're from Noah's perspective, right? If I am reading correctly. But I was gonna say it's interesting that we're from his perspective. I wonder if the game changes perspectives. You know, different characters at a time. Anyway. But this ache he harbors pales in comparison to a pain far more excruciating. Is it the house? No. Something far more sinister. He feels it. Someone is watching him. Or is it... Wait, who's... Oh, Hugo's chest. Okay. I don't know, for some reason I thought it was Noah. Like we were looking at Noah or something. No. No, it is Hugo. Okay, which makes sense. I don't know why. Anyway. I misunderstand what the writing was trying to communicate, but no, it's just him, Noah, feeling he has a bad feeling. Basically, it's something far more sinister. He feels it. Something is watching him, a piercing gaze fixed on him, like leering at a bug and waiting to strike. I'll never forgive you. Good. What the hell? Damn it already. I need to hurry or else. Hey, are you alright? Noah calls out to him, snapping him out of his fixated trance. Opie nudges his head against Hugo, whining with concern over his partner's well-being. Did you hear that just now? You hear what? That voice. It was so close to my ear, Is everything alright? Oh, I'm fine, don't mind me. I'm just having weird auditory hallucinations that may or may not be paranormal. I'm just a bit winded out from the trip, that's all. I'd be happy to make you coffee at the very least. If it's no trouble. No, not at all. It's the least I can do. Once again, the subtle uneasiness from Nina surfaces. But before Hugo could get a chance to look further into it, she walked off towards the front porch without saying another word. Are you sure you're alright? You sound like you were choking earlier. I said I'm fine. Besides, we're already here. We can't back out now. Listen to me, I think you should... Noah abruptly cuts his lecture short as he notices Nina stopping by the front door. She stands there silently, as if contemplating something. I know this may sound rude, but I didn't get a chance to know your names. Well, you were pretty out of it when you walked in. I'm really sorry about that. No worries. This is Detective Ligo... I was to say Ligo Laurent. No, Detective Hugo Laurent. His assistant, Kobe. And I'm his second assistant, Noah de Leon, I assume. I don't know why I'm saying it that... Is it Noah de Leon or is it Noah de Leon? I don't know. I'm assuming it's Noah de Leon because it sounds French to me and maybe that's how you say it. I don't know. It seems so surreal, just like a cartoon, as if we are in like an anime-style visual novel or something. Weird. Nina meekly smiles before turning away from them. What is this anime? I don't know. It's always that mix, right? It's like kind of anime style, but also maybe it's obviously drawn by like a Western artist. So it has some features of like anime, but it's not exactly anime, you know. I mean, the biggest thing is the eyes. You know, the eyes are very anime to me. Anyway. But yeah, I haven't been quite honest with you, Detective Laurent. Just like before, as if carefully choosing her next words, she decides that in this situation, words are not enough. You'll see for yourself what I mean. And with that, Nina enters the house, leaving the three to follow behind. Hugo's about to enter through the foyer when he feels a tug on his arm. Don't forget what I told you. If something happens, let me know right away. And you'll be the first to know. And with that, Noah releases his grip on Hugo. They proceed to head in, not knowing what awaits them beyond the door. Greeted with a brightly lit hallway, Hugo notes that the interior is just as grand. Adorned with floral accents and antique paintings, it exudes an elegant charm found only in a resplendent house such as this. However, Hugo notices something even more distinct than its splendor. This house is much more terrifying inside than out. Please, come this way. Also, who is this guy? I don't know who is... I don't think... Is that... I don't know, that's a grandpa. Because when I think grandpa, you know, I think at least the hair would start to gray a little bit. This guy just looks like a young adult, so I don't know. Who is this person? Anyway. Just sitting there. Bracing themselves, they enter the dimly lit drawing room. At first glance, Hugo could not discern the silhouette situated at the far corner. However, on closer inspection, he understands the reason for all of Nina's unsettling vagueness. Grandfather, we have guests. Grandfather? Yeah, okay, it is intentional. Alright. Weird. Is he like a vampire or something? That's my first guess. He's a freaking vampire. I don't know. Well, sitting on the armchair is a young man. He's dressed in a white-collared down dress shirt, tucked in with black slacks and black penny loafers. Staring only at the window, the young man sits there dazed with little acknowledgement of the people around him. Still, motionless, like a bee shonen doll. Grandpa, these are the people I spoke of. This is Detective Laurent and his two assistants, Kobe and Noah. They're going to help us. Henry. Even after introducing them to the head of the Mortimer estate, Hugo and Noah could not help but feel unnerved. The man before them is supposed to be frail and older than any of them. And yet, here he remains, forever unchanging. Forever young. They've come a long way, so I'll be making them some coffee. Would you also like some, Grandpa? The young man still does not reply back, like a silent protagonist in an RPG. Never glancing at Nina or anyone else in the room, only fixed on the rain. I'll be sure to make a cup for you too. She then timidly gestures to Hugo and Noah back to the foyer. Bearing more questions, the two follow Nina outside. But before they leave the drawing room, Hugo takes one last look at the young man. There's an all too familiar air about Henry Mortimer. His eyes, they're similar to his own. It's very green. Whatever he must be longing for, Hugo knows it will not end well. Nina, that man. Yes, he's my grandfather, the one I asked you all to watch over. I know this is hard to believe, but... Nina draws something out from her pocket. It's an antique picture of a young man with slicked black hair wearing a luxurious suit. He appears to be poised and refined, a complete contrast to the current Henry Mortimer. This isn't much to go by, but I swear he's the same person. Then, why does he look so young? It happened a few nights ago. I was on my way to get a cup of tea when I heard a loud thud coming from my grandfather's room. I was worried that something fell over, so I went to check. When I opened the door, I found him collapsed on the ground. I rushed to help him up, but when I did, he looked so different. So many things were rushing to my head, yet he felt so familiar to me. He wore the same clothes that my grandpa wore that night. And his face, I recognized his face. He just looked younger. That was also the same night I found that letter. It was next to him, already opened. I'm sorry again for all of this. No matter who I went to, they either said something was wrong with me or my family. With everything going on, maybe they're right. The pools of water, the dripping sounds, the letter, and now this. Maybe my family really is cursed. They're not. Curses aren't real. Detective. You see, this is a case where someone swapped them. This is a body double. I think we easily get too involved in believing that sort of thing exists. In reality, the ones who fixate on it feeds off of it. Rumors, doubts, lies, all of those things are what they want to become real. Deep-rooted emotions like that can't possibly be healed or fixed right away. But like a curse, those emotions drag other people down with them. Personally, I think you were caught up in all of this, but I assure you we'll see this through. For you and your grandfather. Thank you. Good. Now our first priority is to find out more about Lewis. Nina, the letter you showed us back at the agency, do you have it with you? Yes, it's here. Do you mind if I borrow it for a bit? I'll be sure to give it back. Of course. I'll go check upstairs. Noah, you and Kobe check the ground floor. Got it. Before they leave to do their own investigations, Hugo grabs a hold of Noah's shoulder. He leans in close enough for Nina not to hear. Keep a close eye on Mr. Mortimer and Nina. Especially Nina. Okay. I'm counting on you. You too, boy. And with that, Hugo heads upstairs, starting his investigation. Investigation, start! The music, like jazz music starts. No, I guess not. After searching vigorously through each of the rooms, he knew his findings would eventually lead him here. This is it. Hugo walks towards the nearest lampshade and opens it. Dimly illuminated, he sees the extent of how lavish this part of the house is. From customized drapes to the vintage furniture, everything here exudes that extravagance. But much like the interior Hugo has seen so far, he finds this one in particular reeks of it. Plastered from wall to wall, a sense of gloom lingers. It's as if this room itself is moldering, despite its preserved nature. I need to hurry. I don't want to stay here for too long. More time pass. I see some paper on the ground, and the bed is not made, No one made the bed. He searches and searches, still with no sign of anything. Not one thing pertaining to Lewis. Damn it, nothing. It's as if he cleared everything out, just blank everywhere. No, it has to be here. I'm just missing something. He ponders again he ponders again before remembering the ladder. The ladder or the ladder? Can't speak, I said that. He ponders again before remembering the letter. This is the only proof Lewis exists so far. I'll try to read it again. Maybe I overlooked it. As he takes the letter out from the envelope, he notices a change within. Bearing no foreboding threat at the bottom of the page, it looks just like a regular letter. What the? If you can't come, then I understand. It's pretty dreary after all. But if I can ask one last favor of you, could you keep my locket? I know this is selfish of me, but I'd like for you to have it. I'd be happy knowing it was with you. Thank you for everything, Henry. Or rather, no. Thank you for everything, Henry. Forever yours, Lewis. Rather, that's how you say that. This is the same Lewis. I thought he was the cause of all this. I don't understand. Without warning, the sound of a click can be heard across the bedroom, as if something unlocked itself. Hugo turns around and sees at the foot of the bed a chest. Unlike the other furniture, its dark and rustic features have not been maintained well, left to rot on its own. Preparing himself, he opens the chest and do-do-do-do. He gets a bunch of loot. Inside, scrambled together are a bunch of notebooks and small trinkets. Hugo continues to rummage through when he stumbles across an old newspaper article. A young man found dead by the lake. Well, an unidentified young man was found on the morning of blah blah blah, 3 days prior to his death, according to the police. Ruled out as a suicide, police have claimed that the troubled youth drowned himself. This certainly is a tragic loss, an unfortunate event indeed, someone comments. No claim of his body has been made yet. Lewis. By the corner of Hugo's eye, he spots a bright glint buried beneath the clutter. He reaches for it. A locket of brilliant gold. A locket of brilliant gold shines unblemished, retaining a timeless luster. Okay, that was mentioned in the letter, I guess. This is a locket. Someone smiling. Inside, it safeguards a picture of a young man with glasses smiling brightly. This must be the locket that he's talking about. It's so pretty. I'm surprised it still shines like this. And this picture. Did he put this here? No. It might have been Henry. But why? Why would he store it away like this? What should I do? I have a choice. Uh-oh. Choices in a visual novel? You know, a typical video game protagonist would take the locket though. But like, it could also be cursed. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave the locket. My first instinct is to actually take the locket, but well, I guess we'll see. There's probably different endings and whatnot. Well, let's see what happens if we just leave the locket. I think it's best to put it back for now. Hugo is about to put everything back into the chest when he feels a wet and cold sensation crawling up his leg. What? Water. A pool of water relentlessly spreads across the floor, already seeping into the chest. Damn it, no! Suddenly, the lights shut off. A scream is heard, followed by a myriad of shouts. Hugo's about to call out to Noah, but stops at the sight of pale feet before him. Looming over him stands a tall and ominous figure. His face is shrouded in complete darkness, devoid of any human emotion. It appears as a young man, but Hugo knows it's far from it. No, this very thing is trying to imitate a human form. Trying to be human. Hugo could only stare back. Paralyzed with fear, he is forced to watch the horror as it slowly creeps towards him. It's just like before. The sensation of someone staring at him from within. But this time, it's drawing nearer. Well, there you go. It's hard to see, but I see legs, I see hands. Inching ever so closely, the words to call out to Kobe or Noah fail to reach out. Lodged in his throat, he struggles in pain. With his breathing shallow, he tries to force his body to move. And then it stops. Looking down at Hugo, filled with nothing but malice and contempt, it speaks. Don't get in my way. Oh, and then, all of a sudden, the door to the bedroom slams shut and the entity disappears. The tension from his body finally releases its agonizing grip, and he gasps desperately for air. His vision is blurred and breathing jagged. He staggered towards the door. He yanks at the handle several times, but it's tightly jammed. Fuck. Noah, Kobe. To his dismay, he's only greeted with silence at the other end of the door. Damn it. From a distance, he faintly hears the sounds of Kobe's relentless barking as it gets further away from the house. Hugo rushes towards the window. Everything is so wet, I guess. He tries to pry it open, but just like the door, a heavy force prevents him from doing so. Fuck this. Frantically looking around the room, he spots a nearby chair. Without a moment sooner, Hugo grabs the chair and starts to strike the window. Yeah, cause some property damage. Yay! Bit by bit, the window cracks get larger with each blow, splitting off smaller pieces. What the hell is this thing made of? Still trying to catch his breath, he musters all the strength he has left for the final blow. Damn you, just break already. Pulling out the remaining glass shards, Hugo peers his head out to see any railing he can grab hold of. However, he discovers instead that the wall adjacent is covered in ivy. Despite how heavy the rain has drastically become, he reaches out for it, grabbing a handful of the vines. Carefully, he climbs out the window, gripping tightly, and making sure he doesn't lose his footing. Into his luck, the patch of vines he clutches starts to tear away from the wall. Out of desperation, he struggles to find his grip on another, but fails when his hand slips out of reach. Ah, shit! Ah! Ow. Okay. You know, how do you explain this one? You know, you just, like, there's a monster, and then you try to escape the room, and you smash the window, try to climb out through the vines? I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if the others will believe him. Clamoring wildly as he loses grip on the ivy, he crash lands down into a thicket of bushes. Air forced out of him, he leaves uncontrollably, trying to even out his breathing. But even that is laborious, and immense pain spreads across not only his back but his entire body. God, I'm getting too old for this. Although his body screams out in pain, he forces himself up. There's still time. I can do this. I have to do this. With staggering feet and haggard breathing, he makes his way to the place where it all started. To the lake, where this tragedy starts and ends. Okay, it's midnight. Go directly to the lake. Finally entering through the park, Hugo calls out to Kobe and Noah. Kobe, Noah, where are you? He hears faintly the sounds of barking and echoes of people yelling in the distance. He rushes towards the echoes, guiding him through the downpour. With his heart racing and blood rushing to his head, he finds his way to the lake. Drawing closer, he sees Nina giving chase to her grandfather. Unfortunately, she doesn't get too far as Noah stops her. Grandpa, stop, Grandpa! Let me go, my grandpa, he's... Okay, I guess they're busy, you know, something's going on with them as well, so I guess they're distracted. They don't have to worry about paying for that, you know, broken window. The ghost did it, not me. Anyway... Nina, please, it's dangerous. You'll get hurt too. I don't care. I don't want to lose anyone anymore. It's at that instant Hugo trudges against the water, pursuing in Nina's stead. Hugo? No, don't! Please falls deaf to his ears. Not even the whines and worried cries of his partner could make him turn back. Determined, he trudges further in. Nearing the deep end, he sees Henry Mortimer gazing directly at the abyss. He looks even more frail and disheveled, as if all the life had been drained from him, surrendering it all to the lake. Before Henry could lean in, Hugo reaches out and tugs at his arm. Mr. Mortimer, listen to me. Nothing is waiting for you down there, so please, come back to the shore with me. Motionless and unresponsive, he still stares deeply into the water. There are so many things we cannot afford to lose in our lives, and you're one of them. To Nina, you're all she has left. She needs you, Mr. Mortimer. Hugo felt it. A slight jolt from Henry's arm, as if stirred by the mention of Nina. He slowly turns to face Hugo. Nina. However, just as cruel and violent as a storm, Henry jerks back, wrenching his arm away from Hugo's hold on him. All of this is my fault. If only I got to Lewis sooner, then none of this would have happened. Henry inches even closer to the edge. Lewis, I'm sorry. I should have what? Gone in his stead. Gone with him. You know that wouldn't resolve anything. Not for you or Lewis. I've had enough. Lewis is waiting for me. He's waiting for me to come home. Before Hugo could reach out for Henry's hand, he disappears into the water. Mr. Mortimer! Without hearing the anguished cries and desperate pleas, Hugo dives after him. Into the abyss. I guess just literally into the abyss. Plunging into icy waters, Hugo feels shocks running rampant throughout his body. Like spikes continuously piercing from his legs to the tips of his fingers. Fiercely and unyielding, his chest tightens and his heart races as he begins to kick his legs. Hoping whichever way he goes, he'll find his way to Henry. Swimming deeper and deeper in, he sees faintly a figure slowly descending into the darkness. As he finally gets closer to Henry, long snake-like arms stretch across the void and grab Hugo's neck, violently squeezing all the air out from him. He tries desperately to wrench his hands away, but with each struggle, Hugo's movements begin to weigh heavier than heavier, water filling into his lungs as his vision starts to blur. The cold numbness spreads. Tired and motionless, he watches on as the abyss draws near, swallowing him, embracing him. Let's share this happy ending together. Ah yes, happy ending, where we all drown in the lake and the abyss consumes all. It's a bad ending! A mermaid's tale! Ah yes, of course. I wonder what that face represents. Anyway, there you go. That's a bad ending, I guess. That's not a very good ending. Just it also left a lot of questions. I mean, I think the young man, like Lewis, was the same person who drowned in the lake, and there's some kind of thing that happened there. I don't know. And that's what caused the curse, I guess? Something to do with that, I don't know. But let's try again. This time, let's not drown, maybe? Could probably try to do that, who knows? Let's go back here. I mean, the only choice that we could have gotten is to either leave the locket or take the locket. Let's try taking the locket this time. Maybe that'll help? I should probably hold on to this for a while. Or for now, rather, not for a while. And then... Can I skip? Yeah, okay. Yeah! Alright, so we're back here. We're trying to stop Henry from drowning himself, but this time we have a locket, so... I read what he wrote to you those years ago. He understood if you didn't want to come see him. But the thing is, Mr. Mortimer, Lewis never thought anything less of you. The locket is proof of that. Lewis's locket. Yes, it's the symbol of his love for you. That's why you don't have to shoulder all of that pain by yourself anymore. We can talk about it. About you and Lewis. All of it. Together. Oh, and he stopped glowing. His eyes stopped glowing anyway. Hugo extends not only his hand to him, but a promise. A promise that Henry had yearned for so long. A way to forgive himself. He hesitates at first. What fool believes in deserved forgiveness? Such a thing doesn't exist. And yet, despite everything, Hugo still reaches out to him. To a stranger. Maybe he can be forgiven. Just as he was about to reach for Hugo, a hand slithers around Henry's instead. Its arms unnaturally contort around him, while its head perches on his shoulder. This thing, this Lewis, is no longer pretending to be human. Okay, so that's what we saw before in that room. Some kind of entity pretending to be Lewis and guilting him to like kill himself because I assume Lewis also was the young man that drowned, in the newspaper. With piercing, cold green eyes, it glares directly at Hugo, mocking him, cursing him, wishing nothing but despair. Zetsubo. We can be saved. We can be forgiven. There's only one true way out of this. I will share with you the most happiest of endings. Before Hugo could reach out for Henry's hand, he disappears into the water. Mr. Mortimer! Although hearing the anguished cries and desperate pleas, Hugo dives after him. Into the abyss once more into the breach. Plunging into the icy waters, Hugo feels shocks running rampant through his body. We've seen this already. Yeah. His chest tightens, his heart races, begins to kick his legs, hoping whichever he goes, he'll find his way to Henry. So deeper and deeper in, he sees faintly a figure slowly descending into the darkness. As he finally gets closer to Henry, long snake-like arms stretch across the void and grab Hugo's neck, and he's being choked out. He tries to wrench its hands away, but with each struggle, Hugo's movements begin to weigh heavier and heavier. Lewis, where are you, Lewis? It's looking for Lewis. Digging deep into his coat's pockets, Digging deep into his coat's pocket, he grabs tightly in his hand the locket that Henry kept and had long forgotten. Holding it out as it shines ever so brightly in the dark. Ah, there you are. It releases its grip on Hugo and instead reaches out for the locket. Taking this as a chance, he drops the chain and kicks with all his might to grab Henry's arm. With his heart burning and his body screaming, he swims desperately to the surface. Almost there. I just have to... As the lights from the surface begin to blur, Hugo makes one last attempt to reach for it. With his limbs worn out and his energy spent, this is all he can do. Before he loses his consciousness, he notices a figure swimming towards them, getting closer and closer. And then everything fades to black. Drifting along with what feels like an endless sea, Hugo courses through wave after wave, not knowing where he's going or caring for that matter. All he knows is that he's very, very tired. How long has it been since he had a good night's rest? It's been too long. Maybe I should take that rest now. I like that so much. I agree that you deserve it, but not here. I'm sorry for startling you. I just wanted to see you before I go. Who's this? Lewis. You've done so much for me and Henry. Thank you. No worries. From a far-off distance, a voice cries out to him, beckoning for him to come back. Well, I guess this is it. Take care, Hugo. With his eyes closed and his senses still returning, he feels the constant tugs and licks of a certain bloodhound, whining as he tries to wake up his partner. Hugo! He also hears another familiar voice, too annoyingly close for his comfort. Eyes shot right open, he jerks up. Confused, Hugo looks around before he coughs up the remaining water in his lungs. Are you alright? Noah starts to pat his back while Kobe continues to whine over Hugo. What happened? Where's Mr. Mortimer? He's safe, so is Nina. They're both okay. The police and the ambulance should be arriving soon. Oh, thank goodness. Is there more you have to say to me? Instead of thank goodness, I swear you don't listen to a damn word I say. I'm sorry, Noah. Exhausted, he lets out a sigh. He then continues to pat Hugo's back aggressively when someone approaches them. Detective Laurent? Oh, Nina. There's someone I want you to meet. Ah yes, he's back to his old man state. Behind her stands an elderly man. Frail in stature, he timidly looks to the side pensively as he ponders to himself. Although his youth has long faded, his eyes are what catches Hugo's attention. They're no longer a piercing and vicious green. Only eyes just like Nina's. Hello, Mr. Mortimer. Detective. I never got a chance to say goodbye to him. I always thought about it every day. What if Lewis lived on in this world? What if he stayed a little longer with me? It's because of that constant mindset I dragged everyone down. And I kept hurting not only me, but Nina especially. I was the one who kept hurting her. The one to blame for all of this. But you, someone that I never met, still went out of your way to save me. Not knowing my burdens or my faults. Thank you. Hugo reaches out to Henry and smiles brightly at him. It's my pleasure, sir. It's my job, apparently. Save people, even though most of the time when you're a private detective, you really all you're doing is like stalking people, to make sure someone's cheating on someone or something. That's what I've heard anyway. That's usually what you do as a private detective. Wait, but before he lets go, Henry tugs at Hugo's hands one last time. I hope that someday, you too will overcome it. It's the next day. There you go. Case solved, I guess. We didn't do much like traditional detective work, but I guess that was it. Well, good morning, Hugo. You're bright and early. Morning. With much fervor and haste, Hugo resumes writing on his notepad. Although by closer inspection, he looks like he's going to combust any minute. Are you writing up the report? Without looking up, Hugo responds back. Yeah, for the most part. You'll still need to write yours too. I will. But since I haven't had breakfast yet, and I don't like eating by myself, more of this, the same. Let me guess. 2 is better than 1? Bingo! Wow, Hugo, you're really catching on. I'm so proud of you. Ah, shut it, will you? I swear, if only I hadn't fallen off from the goddamn window, maybe my report would have been shorter. Before Noah could begin to cut the bacon, he pauses at the mention of Hugo's report. Oh yeah, by the way, mind telling me what happened to the Mortimer's window? That's what I was saying, yeah. Cause property damage? I broke it. Well, that's obvious to me. What I don't understand is, why is it broken? Do you know how much it costs to repair a window like that? I know. It was really dumb of me. I'm sorry. Besides, I told Mr. Mortimer about it before we left. Honestly, I was expecting an earful from him. And also the bill. And, surprisingly enough, he said it was okay. So what? You just called it a day after all of that? Thank you so much, Mr. Mortimer. You broke it, you pay for it. Would you chill? Would you chill, bro? Of course I'll pay for it. But each time I kept insisting, he just shrugged it off. Said that we already went through a lot for them, so there's nothing good in comparison. Ugh. You know what? He's right. After all that we went through, I deserve at least a nap. Hugo puts down his pen and proceeds to head for the couch. Toby follows after him. Wait, what about breakfast? I'll eat it later. It's nap time now. Heavily sighing, Noah sets aside the food on his desk and joins the other two at the couch. Ugh, I'm getting old. I mean, you are old. Shut it. Kobe whines, asking for head scratches. Oh, sorry, boy. Silently, Hugo scratches the back of Kobe's ears as he leans closer to Noah. You know, I'm glad you came along yesterday. Oh, what's this? Are you getting chummy with me now? Or, who's saying that? I keep... no, Hugo is saying that, okay. You know, I'm glad you came along yesterday. And then, yeah, he's saying you're getting chummy with me. Call it chummy or whatever, but I really mean it. You hadn't saved us back there. Look, I told you before. I'll be there whenever you get yourself into a reckless shit. Besides, didn't you say this was nap time? Get some rest. You deserved it. You too. A calming silence fills the room as the three fall deeper into sleep. No big parties or celebrations, just each other's comfort and sharing this small but rewarding night's rest. Okay, good M, a night's rest. Are those two dating anyway? I feel like that's the implication. Alright, that's the end of the game. Thank you for playing. Whee! There you go. That was Stillwater. I guess. I don't know. I mean, overall, I like the aesthetic for one. The art style is interesting. I do like it. It was pretty short, which is fine actually. I do prefer short stories actually. I don't like it when they, you know, they're just really good friends. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I don't like it when a visual novel, goes like really, really long. Too much exposition and all that. So yeah, I like the pacing and all that. I don't know. To be honest though, my first impression definitely. I wish there was a little bit more mystery though. It kind of just went over I don't know. Maybe when you think about it, maybe it's more clever than I give it credit for, but definitely there's not a lot of resolution. It just kind of happened, right? Like what was that weird mermaid thing? It implied there's some kind of supernatural mermaid curse or something, kind of like Junji Ito-esque maybe. I don't know, but they kind of just went over it. Didn't really focus on the details. I wish actually because this is technically a submission for the the Halloween jam from an Ichio or whatever. I kind of do wish they focus a little bit more on the horror aspect. It was only that one part where we see a figure in the shadows, in that room. Otherwise, not really scary. And it doesn't need to be super scary or anything. But I really do wish they kind of focus more on the horror aspects. What happened? What kind of curses happened to the Mortimers and everything, and how did was it no, not Henry, but what's his face, Lewis, how he died and everything, because it's also implied that he didn't commit suicide. He got like murdered by like a mermaid monster or something. I don't know, something like that. It's a detective yaoi visual novel. I don't know. But I don't know. Again, I wish the plot was a little bit more intriguing. But again, overall, the writing wasn't bad though. Again, I liked the pacing and everything. I don't think it was I don't know what the word is. It wasn't too wordy, I guess, because I feel like a lot of visual novels, they do this thing where they put a lot of flowery language, they make the story a little bit too pretentious, or it feels pretentious anyway. This one doesn't feel like that, it feels like it's good writing, and again, good art and everything, and music too, and I had the music kind of low. I don't know if it's the same on the recording, but the music was fine too. I don't know. It's hard to say that I love this game, but I think it's pretty good though. I wish it expanded a little bit more on the the horror aspects or something like that. It would have more contrast, because initially in the beginning Hugo was like, oh, I'm like a detective that's like very down to earth or whatever. It seems that way, right? He kind of solves mystery without any of like the supernatural stuff, but then at the same time there is a supernatural element. I think. I mean, I read on the game page it was mentioned there's some kind of supernatural element. So I was like thinking like maybe there would be some contrast there, right? We're like, oh, how do you figure this out? Even though there's like a real monster, I don't know, something like that. But it kind of just happened. I don't know. Again, I feel like the conflict. I wish it was more involved. I guess. Also, what's this break room? Is this like? Oh, this is a jukebox. Okay. Concept art as well. Again, art is definitely really good. I do like the art. Um, he's quite boyish, despite being 30 years old, by the way. Maybe they're really good at shaving. I don't know. I feel like if you're that old, usually you have a little bit of whiskers. Despite how much you shave, you always end up with a 5 o'clock shadow. Anyway, no. Oh, okay, there's multiple pages. Yeah. This is fan art, by the way. This is Anri, Sasa, and Ota. I assume these are from other people, maybe? Num num num. Henri. Okay, Henri's Henri's the developer actually. Okay. Oh, is this or is this everybody maybe? Because I did say the developer is Clump Studio, but it's probably like multiple people, right? I didn't pay attention to whether or not like who the people were actually. But yeah, some notes. I'm just gonna like skim through this. Love it. Okay, it was like a concept they had for a long time, I guess. And Ota. And there's Sasa. Okay. And the programmer. And the credits, I guess. Studio Clump. So yeah, these are the people right here. There you go. And yeah, it's for the Spooktober 3rd Annual Visual Novel Jam 2021. Anyway, overall though, I liked it. It wasn't bad, I would say. Anyway, so I guess that was it for Stillwater. I guess if you didn't know, I stream these games live on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, so check me out on Twitch if you want. You can also look for other playthroughs on my channel if you're interested. I mean, I do like a bunch of visual novels, in general, especially like short visual novels here and there. Not as much recently, but it depends. Occasionally, I always kind of like to play these short little visual novels, so you might find more of those on my channel. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, see you then.